Well, hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our backstage event. We are exploring online MBA programs. And in this webinar, we're going to talk about career management and career development. The better programs devote significant resources into helping you sort out your big career decisions, whether through career coaches, careers curriculum, and just general mentorship and support and guidance. And we have three schools here who are going to talk about what they do for their online MBA students in this area. Carnegie Mellon University's Tepper School of Business, the University of Washington's Foster School of Business, and Indiana University's Kelley School of Business. From Tepper, we have Jackie Goslin, who's Director of Master's Career Center. From Washington Foster, we have Susie Bicey, who is Director of Career Management for the Hybrid MBA. And from Indiana Kelley, we have a very familiar face, Rebecca Cook, Executive Director of Kelley Career Services. I want to start off basically by making a statement of my own, and which is this. When you buy a fully featured online MBA experience, you are buying career support and career development. In many of online MBA programs, very little effort is devoted to career management and development. So these are three great schools that are devoting a great deal of attention to this, because after all, anyone who goes for a graduate degree in business or any other field is doing so to acquire new skills and talents to help them in their careers. So let's just talk basics. What is the careers curriculum? What's involved? Who are the coaches and experts? Let's start with Tepper.
Okay, hi, John. Thanks very much for having us. Again, my name is Jackie Goslin, and I work in the Master's Career Center at the Tepper School of Business. I wear many hats, one of which is I am in charge, along with my colleague, Kate Riley, we're in charge of careers curriculum for our part-time MBA program. And, you made a good point, John, investing in the careers portion of an MBA experience. For us, it is not a one-size-fits-all model. It's a very high-touch experience, and we really don't delineate between online MBAs, part-time MBAs, full-time MBAs. Our services are the same high-touch services for all types of MBAs in our program. And I would say our curriculum is built around three primary resources. The first, and I think most valuable resource, is the advisors, myself included. There are 7 of us in our office, and each of us has a vertical expertise. Mine happens to be finance, and then my colleagues cover consulting, marketing, operations, that sort of thing. And so what we do is we ask each and every MBA who accepts admission into our program to complete a career preferences survey. And then based upon those thoughts and comments, we assign them to one of us. And our part-time program is 3 years long. So in that first year, they have immediate access to us, where we start to begin the discussion around, what their career goals are. And then based on that, we build out a strategy and a plan going forward. We also have a Canvas course. That's the second resource that we place a lot of emphasis on, because there's just a ton of valuable information in there, ranging from how to access recruiting resources if they're interested in recruiting, to how to research industries, opportunities, that sort of thing. So our Canvas course is a great resource. And then lastly, we have what's called Access Weekends. And that's an opportunity for our MBAs that are located all across the country to gather in one place here in Pittsburgh at our beautiful Tepper Quad in Pittsburgh, PA. It's a gorgeous building, and we have lots of different programming that's offered once they get to campus, centered around, academics, as well as career networking and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what our curriculum looks like, our careers curriculum looks like for our part-time students.
And I can attest that you have a gorgeous building, having been in it a few times.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Rebecca, what's the career curriculum look like at Kelley?
Sure. Thank you, John. So at Kelly, all of our Kelly Direct, our online program students start working with our product before they actually start their classes. So for example, the next group comes in March, I think. And so as soon as they actually sign up and apply, or they're accepted into the program, they can start looking at all of our offerings. So they'll start seeing some things on Canvas and in Kelly Link, which is a 1220 platform. So really beginning to understand, what do we offer, what do we have? And then once they actually matriculate into the program, we have 4 dedicated coaches to Kelly Direct, and they can start working with the coaches right away and really setting up how they, what are they looking for? What are their plans? Are they looking to advance? Are they looking to change careers? Really, what does that look like? And then we have individualized coaching as well as webinars specifically targeted to those populations. So those are live sessions with the students, sometimes in groups, sometimes individually, but really providing each student an individualized programming, because again, everybody's looking, kind of like Jackie said, everybody's looking for a little bit something different. And so really spending a lot of that time with the students. And we do weekly newsletters. We do a lot of different active reach outs to those students. And then they also come to campus at during their first year, Kelly on campus, and then their second year, Kelly on location. And we're always a part of that, whether it's actual live coaching while they're here or just helping networking opportunities, but really providing a way for them to connect with each other as well as connecting with us. Because I think there's a lot of great opportunities for our students, because our program is large, that they may want to go into a company that, hey, the person sitting next to them actually happens to work for. So really creating those connections for those students.
Right, great. Susie at Foster, how do you approach the career development front?
Thanks, John. Quite similarly, actually, to Jackie and Rebecca, we consider our broad services and resources and content and career experiences, to be really customized and tailored to the needs of a broad array of interests. We have immersions, which are brief on-site curriculum where our students come in every quarter during the life of their 2-year hybrid MBA, and career management is integrally involved in that immersion, whether it's an executive speaker series or we're delivering a skill building session, hosting an MBA alumni panel, or something different. Our team, we have 4 dedicated coaches, and we engage early before they start their hybrid MBA program to really get, a grasp of their needs. Again, whether they want to move up in their organization, across, change companies, functions, industries, start something entrepreneurial, for us to really get an understanding of where they're at. And then, they do have access to one-to-one coaching. We also offer group coaching programs, which have been really successful. We'll have one start in December that's called a career change group. And so it's really targeted for those students, project management team with built-in camaraderie and support to explore and set a new direction for their career path. And we have a full-on Canvas course, which is quite comprehensive for 24/7 access to just a wide variety of resources, recordings, and we have a career workbook, just a lot that they can take advantage of as they have time.
That's a really interesting what you just said, because of course you have different needs for different people. There's some who do an online MBA program and they hope merely to advance in their current companies. There are others who want to change the company in their same industry. And then there's others who want to switch industries altogether, maybe geographies and companies all at the same time. How do you address these different needs of the different students in your program? Susie, we'll stay with you on that.
Yes, after this session in about an hour, I'll deliver an hour-long session on charting a new path. And it's really communicating a step-by-step process, knowing that that'll be tailored to the specific individual. And so, really connecting them to resources that are most relevant. And that comes through Canvas, it comes through our announcements, through coaching, and ensuring that they have the resources and are aware of the support that lives within the hybrid MBA program for them to achieve their goals. And so there's a lot of different things that we do just to ensure that they, are thinking through their career vision and their career possibilities, and then charting a strategic plan to really reach that goal.
Rebecca, what do you say about that?
Very similar to what Susie just said, actually. We usually divide students kind of into career switchers or career navigators, thinking the navigators are more the ones looking to move up within their company or something similar, versus the switchers are looking to make the bigger change. And we have, again, those very individualized coaching opportunities, but then we also have classes that we run that are tied to each of these areas. So it's about a 12-week class where the students really follow along with their cohort. And they're small classes. They're usually capped at about 30, 35 students. And really, so those students get to help each other within those classes, as well as working individually with the instructor who is one of the coaches. But really providing a lot of that individualized, but also like the others had said, kind of that group coaching. I think a lot of students find a lot of benefit in group coaching. They sometimes go into it a little bit questioning or wondering what it's going to be like, but they actually really enjoy it because they find fellow people who are going through similar situations, and they can share contacts and networks and really tend to come out of it very, very positively.
Right. Jackie, you have anything to add?
I do, a lot. I mean, actually on the group discussions, Rebecca, we just had a session at our last Access weekend where one student offered another student an interview opportunity at his company. So it was just so cool to see that transpire. So my philosophy with our career curriculum is that we don't really want our students to choose. We don't want them to have to choose a direction. You know, like, are you going to grow within your organization, or do you think you're going to recruit? You need to decide now. Like that, the last thing they want is to have to kind of put themselves in buckets, especially early on in the program when they're just getting started. So we try to keep things as flexible as possible for them. And we feel like our technology and our accessibility enables that sort of environment. So as I said earlier, when they join the program and they complete their career preferences survey, they're assigned to one of us. And there are 7 of us in the office, and I've been at Tepper for 16 years, and I had industry experience before joining Tepper, and my profile is very similar with my colleagues as well. So many of us with prior industry experience, and we do feel like we bring a subject matter expertise to the table to at least get the conversation started with them.
Right.
And then based on that, we direct them like, okay, it sounds like you're looking to explore, what are the next steps we need to take to help you grow within your organization. And we talk about, some of the networking they're going to have to do both internally within their organization, cross-functionally, and then some of the networking they're going to have to do externally, like leveraging our alumni network and giving them access to alums at other companies who are likely doing some of the things that they're interested in doing, and giving, and that access gives them the opportunity to see what the MBA market looks like right now. And it sort of marks to market their experience as well, and gives them a sense for what they should be shooting for. And we also talk about the performance review and how to best leverage that to grow within their organization. So we have conversations like that. And then after year 1, they might decide, you know what, Jackie, I'm interested in dipping my toe into the recruiting waters. What does that look like? How can I access? And we actually give our part-time MBAs audit access to our corporate presentations, and they can start auditing corporate presentations right when they begin the program, and at least get a flavor for what companies are looking for, what their culture's like, who our alums are, et cetera. And then let's say year 2, they decide they want to recruit for an internship. We basically integrate them right into that process, getting their resumes ready, LinkedIn profiles ready, interviewing and networking skills prepped, that sort of thing. The same exact resources that we give to our full-time MBAs. And if they decide they want to skip the internship and maybe look at full-time, then we give them access to full-time recruiting as well. So I really take pride in how flexible our program is in meeting the needs of our students where they are and at certain times in the program.
Yeah. Let me say that obviously that's rare in many online MBA programs, because after all, people in online MBA programs are fully employed already. So to avail yourself of both the opportunity to audit a corporate presentation, or maybe to even get in on a regular MBA interview schedule is pretty unusual. I'm wondering, at Foster, how you approach that. In other words, obviously, traditional full-time MBA students have the advantage of being there full-time, being able to attend every company presentation that they want, getting on an interview schedule, doing an internship, which may or may not lead to a full-time job offer. But an online MBA student isn't there, isn't present, is already fully employed. If in fact they want to go for recruitment, they want to change their trajectory in every possible way, how do they do it? Do they have access to job boards? What do you do to connect them to the alumni network, as Jackie just expressed at Carnegie Mellon? Give us a sense for the path for someone who wants to actually pivot in their career with an online MBA from Foster.
Absolutely. Thank you. Like Rebecca and Jackie, we look at students, some are going to make a single switch, some are going to make a double, some are going to make a triple, and some do the fourth, where they're switching up company, function, industry, and geography. We provide a wide range of activities and events for our students to connect with employers through employer information sessions. We have a signature trek program where we go out and visit companies on site in the Seattle area as well as in other cities. In October, we were in Austin, Texas, and it's a fantastic way for our students to get a firsthand, they're on site, they're learning about, business operations and company culture, meeting with business leaders, determining if that organization, which many of them are remote first, could be a place for them. And so our Trek program is one way that students can connect into companies, employer information sessions. We hold virtual career fairs. We have a robust mentoring program, which is a senior level leader and alum that's paired one-to-one with one of our students. We've built out learning circles where within that community, a couple of alumni leaders and students can come together to talk about topics that are of highest interest for the student mentees. We have, private groups within social networks, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's quite easy, for our students to be able to access alumni. And then we really wrap coaching, the skills and the techniques and the comfort, confidence to be able to do that gracefully. And so they're looking at it, not as a transaction, but a long game, that it's really about, making connections and having conversations. And so just a few of the different ways that we support our students in achieving a variety of different switches that they're up to.
Rebecca, can you take a swing at that?
Sure. And we offer, like everyone else, I think we offer a lot of the similar things, but so definitely, job boards, opportunities to look at internships if they want to. It kind of depends on each individualized person. Do they want, if they're making a major career switch, is an internship probably the best way to do it? And we work with them to do that. And sometimes we've even had people who are working at companies be allowed to essentially leave for the summer and do an internship and then come back. So it's always interesting, I guess, from the corporate side, but opportunities for that, again, those students to explore, and that's connecting with alumni. We have similar treks. We have about 127,000 Kelly alumni, so it's a wonderful, massive network, and we really help those students connect with Kellys, literally globally. So we always in our office, as we get to know those students and figure, as they're thinking about or exploring ideas or places they want to go, we help make those connections for those students, to connect. And again, even within the student population, it's a large program, so there's a lot of opportunities to connect with each other and sharing those ideas, or, I'm looking to make a transition into, I don't know, product management or something. So who do you know, and how do you know that, how can we help each other with that process? So I think we leverage, again, the alumni, and then also, again, the size of the program as they're in the program. We have mentorship with alumni and students, like further on, mentoring students who are just starting the program. So lots of different opportunities to connect and then explore and try new things or learn about different opportunities.
Great. Jackie, what kind of tools and assessments does the school use to help students identify career opportunities that might fit with their career goals and their personal values.
Yeah, now, John, you can game those assessments, right? To give you the outcome that you want.
Of course you can.
Now, we've been using Career Leader for quite a long time. I think it's a good conversation starter. I don't think it's where the conversation ends, but it's a good conversation starter. So basically, when I meet with my students, I ask them to provide their Career Leader results so I can take a look at it and see if it aligns with what they're telling me in our meeting. I think one of my favorite examples is when I have a student that tells me they're interested in investment banking, and then we take a look at some of their, priorities in terms of, personal as well as professional, and if lifestyle or work-life balance ranks high, I kind of say, that maybe banking isn't the right avenue. How can we, get the similar experience without working 120 hours a week? Maybe it's corporate development at a pharmaceutical company, or maybe it's asset management, or something like that. So career leaders.
You mean everyone doesn't want to work every single weekend and do 80 to 100 hours a week? I can't believe it.
I know. Yeah. So career leaders are sort of a marquee assessment. And then I would say truly the one-on-one coaching is really where we take the conversation to the next level.
Rebecca, do you use tools and assessments in Me Inc.?
We do. Career Leader, though, is I think probably we all use it at some point. It's a good starting point. And then it is a lot of self-assessment and working with the students individually and again in groups, and really think, okay, what are your skills? What are your interests? What are your values? Why do you want to go certain places? Really, what are you valuing? Is it more work-life balance, which would be not investment banking? Or is it more, is it certain kind of lifestyle? Is it a certain kind of monetary amount, whatever that is? But really helping the student figure out what that is. And sometimes it's a surprise to them after really delving into it and really understanding what they're looking for. And like, oh, actually, I do want to go a certain way. But again, Career Leader, great place to start. And then more the individualized and the group assessments as well. And there's a lot of things that the students do on their own that then we take and work with them to evaluate what they've said and have further discussions.
Susie, does anyone use Myers-Briggs anymore?
Our students have access to the MBTI. We use Career Leader as well, and I definitely agree that it's a conversation starter. There's an area in there that I think has a lot of opportunity for coaching, and it provides measures of fit, or I should say add to culture. And so that can really open up really interesting conversations around where a student has been and what they're looking for as they're going forward. Something that we did, we have a 2-year executive essentials program, which is really around building self-awareness and executive presence and increasing, strengthening communication skills. And nested under that EE program, we delivered group coaching sessions this fall using the Clifton Strengths. And so really deconstructing their talents and their strengths and looking at everyday application and how that's linked to their career aspirations and goals. And so it was a working session and had, anywhere from 5 to 8 individuals in each session. And so just something, newish that we're working with.
Great. I wonder, what kind of skill sets are these programs emphasizing to meet the needs of business? Obviously, those needs evolve and they change over the years. More recently, there's a lot of talk about, obviously, data analytics, business analytics to harness all the data that's being collected in the marketplace today. But if you had to say, what are the skill sets your program emphasizes, what would you say, Susie?
Yes, certainly, the core MBA curriculum, and then like many online MBAs, our students can select electives to drive, deeper focus into, core areas of business. Some of the electives, we have a product management, and so that, has strong ties to career direction for some. On the important people skills, this Executive Essentials program has 6 tenets, and a lot of thought with our team in terms of identifying what those areas, as we rolled that out. I mentioned, emotional intelligence, inclusive leadership, storytelling, communication skills, nonverbal, written, and presentation. And then we wrap in personal branding and career planning in there as well. Our new students go through a comprehensive personal branding learning and reflecting and writing for the tools that are carrying their brand, and they're exposed to that their first quarter. So really laying that bedrock of thinking more intentionally around how others are perceiving you and how you're articulating your brand.
Right. Rebecca?
Sure. Very similarly, we start with branding, really understanding who you are and how you're going to tell that story. But really, we emphasize a couple different things in terms of the globalization of the program and the markets. Most of our students, or a lot of them, they have tons of opportunities to travel globally with Kelley Direct and work on projects. So live consulting projects around the world. So that's a really neat opportunity for our students to partake. Also, a lot on leadership and really becoming the leader that they can be, and helping them define what that leadership, who are they as a leader? What is their leadership style? And how do I really develop that? So those would be 2 big ones. Obviously, the networking skills. I think one of the biggest worries always about an online MBA is, oh, will I get to meet my classmates? Oh, will I get to network with others? And really trying to put that myth to rest and showcasing all the different ways you get to know your classmates, whether that's through small discussion groups, virtually or in classes, but also then physically when they're traveling or if they're on location or on campus. So a lot of those type of soft skills, as well as a lot of the ones that Susie already mentioned.
Jackie, I think you have something to add.
Yeah, Rebecca talked about just the global, the global, environment. We kind of look at the business landscape as being shaped by technology, which continues to evolve and evolve quickly, and innovation, which constantly evolves. And I would say I'm pretty proud to say that I feel like CMU kind of sits at the intersection of that. And we give our students hard and soft skills that they can take into the workplace. On the hard skill side, it's a very rigorous curriculum that equips them with the tools they need to, do things like wrangle data, which just continues to spew from these machines as we gain more information on the consumer, on the markets, on products, et cetera. And so our students are able to use the tools that they pick up at CMU to wrangle that data, analyze it, find the story, and then communicate the story and implement strategy. And we have a unique unit in our program called the Accelerate Leadership Center. And that has a great resource for students to build some of these communication skills, some of these softer skills that our students are looking for, where they're looking to how to handle difficult conversations or lead meetings, that kind of thing. So I feel like that, in combination with what my team offers in the Master's Career Center, our deep rooted, experience in the office and working with the MBA population, along with our prior industry experience, gives them the hard skills they need to go out there and tackle, their career goals and ambitions. So, yeah.
What do you think employers most appreciate about your graduates? A lot of different things. I'll maybe narrow it down to 2. They just kind of building on my last answer, that they have the hard skills. They pick up the hard skills to tackle the hard problems in the workplace. And as a result of that, they have staying power. That's my second point, that when they go into these organizations, they're there for, if they choose to be,
they're there for a while and they're making an impact and they're influencing. They then ultimately become the influencers within the organization. And we see that time and time again when they come back to recruit our students. That's kind of like the ultimate sort of full circle experience, right? Where they leave our program only to come back and bring back more talent to their organizations.
Right. Rebecca, what do you think employers most appreciate about a Kelly grad?
Similar, I think, the hard and soft skills that they bring, but a lot of it also falls down to the humility that a Kelly student brings. And this is across all programs at Kelly, but really our students tend to be the ones who roll up their sleeves, jump in and just do what it takes, right? It could be anything, anywhere on that scale. Their title may be one thing, but they may be doing something completely, working on lots of different things and helping their teams. So really focused a lot on teamwork, on collaboration, but really helping to drive whatever the project is or whatever the company is looking at forward.
Right. Susie?
Certainly, the hard skills, the leadership, the people skills that we've talked about, I was thinking about this question, and empathy, really came to mind as far as our students, really at the core around, their abilities to increase trust and foster collaboration and create belonging, in teams and the organizations that they're a part of. I think the curiosity is definitely there. They are certainly comfortable with asking the tough questions. And then I think it's the collaboration, certainly through the teaming and they are in study teams, but also they have their work teams, and just the learning that happens around developing healthy dynamics within teams. I think there's a direct port into their current organization or future organization.
And what's your sense of the acceptance of corporate HR with online degrees today, and how has it changed over the years? Susie?
I think widely accepted and understood. I think that our students are busy professionals. They're pressed for time, and I think having a rigorous reputable program that has built-in flexibility and in many ways, they have the core MBA curriculum, and then they're able to tailor through the electives, and then that's really augmented and scaffolded with some of these different offerings that we provide through career and professional development.
And Rebecca, you're seeing greater acceptance as well?
Definitely. Think back to when Kelly was started online. It was 1999, and very different world back then. And even I'd say 5-7 years ago, it was different. But right now, I think it has changed a ton. What we're all offering and how many different programs there are out there that are strong, really, really good quality programs. Yeah. And so these students are coming out phenomenally well. They are trained, and they have all the skill sets that they need. And I think employers are just like, okay, cool, you have an MBA, and you know what, you can start right now because you are taking these classes part-time.
I think what it's also helped here is the nature of work has changed, right? Mm-hmm. So many people are working remotely, or even when they're in the office, they're working with people who are not present in the same room with them. So they're having to use technology to connect with each other all around the world and manage and lead that way. The other thing, of course, is the pandemic did accelerate all this acceptance and understanding of, the fact that we can't all always be together. So that has got to be a real big driver toward greater acceptance of online education across the board. Jackie, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the last few years of remote work and education has absolutely leveled the playing field for our part-time online MBA program and our students and their accessibility to opportunities. And employers were forced to take a second look, if they hadn't already, at the online MBA population. And I would say that the tight labor market, is even exacerbating the fact that, employers, if they hadn't already, and many of ours had already embraced, part-time applicants. But for those who hadn't, I feel like in recent months and years, they've been forced to revisit that approach. So again, I don't really see a delineation anymore.
I mean, the other thing is, look, I'm a digital immigrant, but there's been generations of digital natives now who have grown up with this technology, are comfortable with it, and frankly prefer it. And those people are getting into management positions. And I think that helps drive greater acceptance and understanding that long distance education can be as valuable, if not more valuable, than in-person education, because for one thing, you can immediately apply what you learn right on the job. So you can actually see the improvement in the in what a person can contribute to an organization as they go through a program. We've talked a little bit about networking, and we talked here and there a little bit about alumni. But I wonder if you might just chat a little bit more about your alumni network, its value to a graduate, and if in fact you're an online grad versus a campus grad, just for the sake of calling someone a campus grad, are you treated differently in that alumni network? Jackie, what do you think?
Well, first of all, the Tepper network is pretty tight. We're not graduating hundreds or thousands every year. It's a very small community, and they all sort of embrace that notion that it's a small community, and our alums are consistently paying it forward, whether it be our part-time graduates or our full-time or on-campus graduates. That being said, I coach both part-time and full-time students. And when I have a part-time student with their specific issue, question, curiosity, and it aligns with another part-time student who experienced that very same thing, I'm absolutely going to have them reach out to the part-time alum, before a full-time alum, because their experiences just align better. There's not a, they're not being judged by, negatively by any full-time alums. There's absolute cohesion across programs, but I really just take it on a case-by-case basis, who I would recommend that student reach out to, really depending on what their question is. We also have to keep in mind that our part-time students, when they do get together and they come to campus, so it's a 3-year program. So they might meet someone from another year and build the network that way, and then choose to network that way first. But we also have the student-run clubs in our full-time MBA program that our part-time students have access to. I'm an advisor to 2 clubs, the Graduate Finance Club and the Asset Management Club, and both have part-time MBA board members in any given year, just depending on part-time MBA interest. If they're interested in being on the club board, they're able to. And it's through that network as well that they're building strong connections for future access and networking and that kind of thing. In addition to recruiting events that our students are able to attend. So yeah, I'd like to say there's like no sort of delineation when they are out there networking, and that there's multiple opportunities for them to access alums. It either access weekend panels or events, or student-run club events, or our own office events as well.
Great. Rebecca, what can you share about the Kelly Network?
Sure. I don't think there isn't any real delineation. We always call it the big K. I did not come up with that, somebody else did, but you're part of Kelly, right? And so that could be an undergrad, that could be an online student, that could be an in-residence, one of the programs. So your doors open because you are part of that, and you were helped by Kelly's when you were a student, so therefore you should help future ones. And that's just expected. So I think there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of interactions that we see with the online students and the in-person students, when they're physically students, but then also as alumni. Our in-residence students reach out to Kelly Direct alumni, and our Kelly Direct students reach out to in-residence alumni. So it's, I think, again, just more of where people want to go and how are they finding contacts. And that's where we help them with that process. But I think the doors are definitely open there, and there isn't seen, oh, you went to the online program. It doesn't matter. It's you had the same professors, you had a different experience, but it's same faculty, very similar opportunities, very similar in everything else. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to network with alumni as well. I mean, I think we all do. Probably all major cities have alumni networks, and online students go to those, as do former in residence students. So and they all enjoy connecting and sharing their love of the school is kind of what everybody connects with.
Susie, tell us a bit about the Foster Network.
Yes, I think it's wide open access. I look at networking as these concentric rings where, they've got their cohort and, just naturally they're going to build tight bonds, within their cohort. And then it expands to, the other MBA programs that foster that have students who are working full time and completing their degree. And then, of course, the full-time MBAs, the specialized masters, and then, it just keeps extending. It is not uncommon for me to hear from a student that reaches out to a Husky, so someone that graduated outside of the business school, and get a positive response. And so I think the community and that reciprocity is really built into our DNA. And there are so many different opportunities. The Austin Trek that I mentioned, we had alumni join us for the Trek. We had, a networking mixer in Portland, Oregon in the spring where it was, mingling with current students and alumni from multiple programs. And so it's just part of the way that we think about the events that we're setting up as a career team and a program team, because the students, they want that, that opportunity to build those new relationships on their own, as well as through the program.
I wonder what each of you would say to someone who is considering whether or not to go to an online MBA program or whether to avail themselves of a full-time residential program. How do you help someone make that decision? Susie?
Yes, it can be a complicated decision. I think for those who are, growing their career and, seeing the vertical and as well as the velocity, rise in their career, and, to think thoroughly and deliberately around what that would look like to step away from that, and just to weigh the pros and cons. And it's often, a decision within family around making that move. I think that, that's the beauty, is that, there are so many different structures for MBA programs. And I think the online MBA for working professionals, just for the flexibility, is unprecedented.
Yep. Rebecca, your advice?
Very similar. It's an individualized decision. It's what fits with your life, what fits with, monetary needs, what fits with family, what fits with what your expectations are and what you're looking to do. And I think there's really every person has to look at it a little bit differently, and the answer is going to be different from each person. And so it's really spending some time and assessing, really reflecting and saying, okay, I know I want to get an MBA. What is the best method to do this with, or how? And the cool thing is there are so much, like Susie just said, there's so many options today. Historically there weren't. So now people have those choices, and any of them provide great opportunities for people, whether that's moving up in their career, moving to something totally different. So, but again, I think each individually, maybe if you're married and you have kids, maybe moving to an in-residence program is not the best choice. Maybe it is, who knows? So sure. Again, I think everybody has to look at what their own lifestyle is and what their expectations are.
Jackie, your thoughts?
Yeah, every situation's nuanced. And that's why I think it really does come back to flexibility. Our program is a 3-year program, and our students have the option to transfer into the full-time program if their goals change over time, and they want to try an internship. And then when they come back from their internship, they can transfer into the full-time program, so they can experience both if that's their desire. So I think at the end of the day, offering a flexible environment and experience for any potential candidate is key. So yeah, in addition to what Rebecca and Susie said too.
Great. How do you think this is going to evolve over the next 5 to 10 years, both your own program as well as the online MBA in particular? Jackie, take out your crystal ball.
So so John, one more time.
How is online MBA going to evolve over the next 5 to 10 years, both in your own program and in general?
Yeah, so I think for the online program, again, getting back to the word flexible, or agile is a pretty trendy word these days too. I think it's going to have to be something that is giving prospective students the flexibility to navigate lots of different priorities, right? Family, cash flow, location, the desire to grow within existing companies, or the desire to pivot to something completely different. So flexibility will be key. I do feel like technology drives a lot of that, and accessibility to technology. And I think everybody sort of met together on that. Like I feel like we're all faculty, staff, employers, students have all sort of agreed to that, and sort of everybody's up their game as far as that goes, which is increased accessibility, which is great. And our access weekends for part-time students will continue to evolve as their needs evolve. Focus groups have been tremendously helpful in helping us better plan our access weekends and deliver what we feel they prioritize. And currently it's networking. They find it's very important for them to be able to network and connect with their classmates, their cohort, and then other cohorts. It's skill building, and it's career building, whether that be internal or external. And then more generally, there's a lot of these specialty master's programs that are evolving. So, finding ways to make sure that MBAs continue to maintain their place in the market. And I do feel like our curriculum will always be an advantage for them, as kind of pointing back to my hard skill answer earlier, that we do feel like our MBAs are ready to answer a lot of the hard problems that are out there that companies are facing today. So,
Rebecca, how do you see this evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
I agree with Jackie on a lot of it. I think it will continue. I mean, as a market, I think it's going to continue to evolve to be more online, more technology based. I mean, we again look at the last 5 years, how much has changed outside of the pandemic. But going forward, so I do think it's going to continue to evolve. It's also, what is the best service for the students? What is the best service that we all can offer for people? And how can we make sure people are engaged? And again, I think that's a trend that I think is going to continue within the online program, particularly, is how can we make sure everybody is engaged and even more engaged?
Yep.
I mean, our program is designed student first. So everything is always focus groups or understanding, okay, what is the best experience for the student? What is the best opportunity here? And so I think we'll continue to evolve. I mean, Kelly's been great in the terms of innovation with this space, and really did a major overhaul in curriculum just recently. So I think continue to look at that. How can we change it? How can we evolve it? How can we make sure we're hitting everything the students need, whether they are still virtual or whether they're on campus when they come to Kelly on campus. So it's again, just trying to think of like, okay, what else do they need? What do they want? And how can we be creative here?
Susie, you get the last words on the evolution of the online MBA market.
Thank you. Yes, so for all the great points that Jackie and Rebecca shared, and I do believe that there will be our future students we'll see programs that have a continuation of a hybrid learning model, where mostly online, but have those opportunities to visit campus and spend time together as part of their program experience. I think we're going to see the next stage in innovation in co-curricular learning experiences. The students desire it. We're all doing that in various forms, and I think it's going to get to that next level. I think that we're going to see an increase in sustainability focused education. Maybe it's, you know, an interdisciplinary approach, really focused on the planet, so across different courses, but having more offerings and resources for those students who are desiring that. I think programs, you know, will continue to be in step with the needs of the employment market. And I think, you know, maybe goes without being said that we're going to see progressive changes in technology, whether it's through artificial intelligence, you know, instructional design, learning analytics, etc. So those are my thoughts about the evolution of the online MBA.
Well, that's a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. And one thing you can rest assured on, no one is going to stand still. Susie, Rebecca, and Jackie, thank you for joining us today. Really enjoyed our conversation. Best of luck to all of you. And for all of you out there, thanks for watching. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. You've been watching our backstage webinar, our deep dive into online MBA programs. We've talked about career management, career development in this one. If you look around on the web, you'll find, or on our site, my previous webinar with the program directors of these 3 schools that do a deep dive into the actual programs themselves. See you next time.